Good afternoon, councillors. Mr. Mayor, my name is Josh Ramey. I live at 618 4th Street in the Haltane neighborhood. I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation, and I'm happy to answer your questions at the end. I know what you're thinking. Boulevard gardening, how could it be controversial? And fortunately, it isn't controversial. Everybody likes it and everybody wants to move forward. I just think that through the consultation process that the administrative staff did, they've missed a couple of glaring problems. In 2020, the move towards an interconnected green network strategy was approved by City Council, and it was well received by all of the citizens as well. Part of that included a part on urban agriculture and food production. As you can see here, Action 2 was to inspire citizen-driven transformation of the green network, and specifically in number 3, to increase food production in the green network, update the policies to improve urban agriculture, and work with partners to develop a comprehensive food strategy. The issue around raised planters not being allowed in the new updated boulevard gardening guidelines centers around food production. You simply cannot grow edible, safe food in the boulevards as we have them now. When you do so, you have cat and dog feces potentially getting into your food system. You have countless amounts of oil and carbon from cars that have been saturated into the ground. In the current and future guidelines, the city staff specifically address that, as you can see here, and they do not recommend growing food within the boulevard gardens directly. That only leaves one solution, a raised planter of some sort. So we know we want to grow food. We know that we have to grow it in a raised planter type situation. Out of the surveys conducted from your administrative staff, as you can see here, the overwhelming majority of people want to do that. So you think to yourself, that should make it into the boulevard gardening guidelines, right? Unfortunately not. When the Public Works Department was consulted on the proposal to include raised planters in the new guidelines, they pushed back, citing snow clearing as a potential issue that would override the benefits to the community. The compromise that is suggested in the new guidelines is to have temporary structures. But what does that even mean? What does that look like exactly? Are we supposed to take the wood from around our planters and take it apart every year and put it in our garages? Maybe if you live in an apartment building, you should take it all apart and stick it under your bed. And then what does that leave? It leaves a big pile of dirt on the boulevard, which is going to be unsightly. It's going to lead to neighborhood complaints. The plan for temporary structures is simply not reasonable. The toothpaste is already out of the tube on this. There are dozens of raised planters in my neighborhood, on my street. There are hundreds within the Haltane and Nutana Buena Vista area. I would suspect that there are thousands that are out throughout the city. More are being built every year. And so it seems like an impossible task to try and put the toothpaste back in the tube on this. And our best option is to work with the Public Works Department to find guidelines that will be realistic. The administrative staff already has some of these suggestions and can implement them. An application process, having standardized sizes and heights, distances from the curb, and how to mark them appropriately for winter. When the city of Saskatoon decided to take on a sustainability portfolio and a sustainability strategy, you must have said to yourself, I'm going to need to change my behavior, and I'm going to need to work a little harder, and I'm going to need to be a little more organized if we're going to meet our communal sustainable goals. You must have said to yourself, I am prepared to ask the citizens to work a little harder and to be a little more organized and change their behavior a little bit to also reach those goals. I do not think that it's unreasonable that we should ask the Public Works Department to work a little bit harder, be a little bit more organized, and change their behavior a little bit in order to accommodate our sustainable goals. We need all the departments on board. And so I'm asking you to send this back to administration and for them to come up with a more reasonable, permanent solution to the raised planter situation. Thank you.